6, 7, 8.
I went to see the show.
Right.
And I thought this is going to be very hard to do a film about because it's very fragile. It doesn't have a big Ibsen plot going on in the back of it.
Yeah, right.
So I don't see how I can bring anything to it except maybe some performances.
Well, you regret those thoughts. You brought everything to it.
Stand by, please.
I didn't have any feeling about what this was going to be like when we started, but it was an extremely dramatic night. The way the music progressed, the choice of tunes, the way they developed, I was amazed that this was as dramatic as it was.
Never heard it sound like this. It's wonderful.
You said, that's what I want to do, films that take one day.
Well, I always thought that that's the perfect kind of film to do. You do something where you have real time. You're building towards some kind of climax and you hit it and then it's over. You didn't have to think so much. They were like little short stories. You just had to start and go through the process and then it was over.
Right.
Whatever you find, you keep.
That's a pretty good shot of me. No makeup. I can't believe that I looked that clear, you know? I wasn't a bad-looking young girl. But you don't know that until you've left your 60s. Jamais too late. Isn't that what they say? I got a call. I was on tour with MAME, and I was not in good shape. I mean, I was very good as MAME. Everybody said so, but that has nothing to do with it. I didn't like playing the part. I didn't feel good about my career, and I didn't feel good about me, and I was running around with a guy 20 years younger than I was, which I had no business doing. The phone rang, and it was Hal Prince. That's how I got it. They said, we have a part for you. It was like, you know, it was like life-saving. It was almost like he knew I needed to do this.
Could I have one of those now? Terrific.
It was the beginning of re-examining how you tell stories in musicals. I thought that it needed to be, and I think it's true of so many theatrical events, that mystery is a good component. And so the birthday party, Bobby's birthday party, which opens the show, closes the show, and reappears in the course of the evening, I made a skew. George had written for them to sing Happy Birthday, and I found out that Happy Birthday is a copyrighted song, and I thought, what good luck. So in rehearsal, I told them all to sing Happy Birthday in a monotone, with no life in it at all, and no tune, to make those birthday parties mysterious and a little dangerous.
Somebody hold me too close.
And of course it is dangerous. It's a comedy, and it's buoyant, and it's hilarious, but this guy who's avoiding a personal relationship is a guy in some real trouble.
These experiences that are so great in your life, you don't realize it when they're going on. You're too in it. I was trying to remember my lyrics and be in tune and with following Hal Hastings and getting it right.
It's a little things, the little things, the little things, the little things.
Everybody, I think, in retrospect, that I worked with on company, directorially, were perfectionists. Every single one of them. Hal Prince, Jesus Christ. Steve Sondheim, I don't even want to go there. Unbelievable. And Michael Bennett, wow. I mean, our rehearsals. Michael Bennett taught me something in company that I've never known before in my life. Do it again, do it again, do it again, until you thought you were going to die. And opening night, when I walked out on that stage, I knew exactly what Michael Bennett was all about. Because if you do it that many times, it was Fred Astaire syndrome. You just keep doing it. And even if you don't feel it out of fear or whatever, you do it right. Same thing with Know Your Lines backwards. And then you can make somebody feel something from them.
I want to do one more right away. This just doesn't have the tension that it ought to have. It's just flaccid.
You made such a wonderful illusion about how all of your cameramen were like pirates you're sending off to capture the jewels.
Right. Well, that's the way we were with all our little films. We went out, we were not really invited. Nobody thought we would ever get anything. I mean, it never...
You didn't know what the jewels were.
That's right. I never paid any attention to what they were doing.
That's right.
I had no idea where they were any time. Ricky saw right away that I was out in the hall. He went into the booth and shot in there. When I followed Elaine into the recording booth, he would then go outside and find something to do outside. But we would never say, now you do this and I'll do this. Because you knew that once you set something like that in motion, everybody would look to you to then tell them what to do. Whereas if everybody was kind of looking for their own treasure, they were very much more tuned in. I mean, they really paid attention. And that's really what you want. Planning it, it's dead. It doesn't have that funny quality of life anymore.
I've always thought of myself so much a little bit of so what's your name in chorus line? Cassie, who can't be in the chorus because people notice her, you know?
Yeah.
And I have that quality. People notice me on the stage. I know that now. Because if you were doing something with a lot of people on the stage, the director would see me. Don't do that with your cigarette, Elaine. You didn't mean to do anything. Just you did something interesting with a cigarette, and all the audience went whappo.
Right.
That's not your fault, but tell that to a director when you're 25.
All right, Elaine.
I haven't got any method of acting. I really don't.
I'd like to propose a toast.
The only thing I did to improve my acting is grow up. I never knew what I was good at and what I wasn't good at.
Here's to the ladies who lunch. Everybody laugh.
She's a consummate artist. Her interpretations of songs are definitive. Her performance displays a woman with enormous strength. Though she drinks too much, though she has a desperately unhappy marriage, though she has self-contempt and contempt for the other ladies who lunch, she has strength, which is where the audience's sympathy for that character of Joanne came. Because she wasn't just simply puking out her self-contempt. And if you watch a woman like that, a one-dimensional, self-indulgent character, they have so much pity for themselves that they don't require yours. But if they're indomitable and resolve to behave themselves despite their traumas, then you feel really sorry for them.
I'll drink to that.
What, does it stink or something, or is it just
You're
awful?
talking it too much. You're not singing it.
We tend to edit, in non-music, we edit off dialogue. It's dialogue driven. So somebody says something to somebody, and then you go to that person and see how he reacts. Who said what to who, and what the reaction was. That's where the drama lies. And in music, it's not too dissimilar.
Where you going? Barcelona.
You want to have that music go from person to person in some way that helps carry it dramatically.
Don't get up.
I was really on the cheap on this film. I couldn't even afford to go down to a title house and have titles shot. So I went out to Broadway, and there was a big sign on 48th Street that some guy could put film on it, project it through some system. So I stood across the street with a camera, and we agreed on a time, and he ran it, and I shot it. I think I just did it once. God, it was the cheapest titles I ever shot.
You had some struggle to retain the ownership of this film. I was in there about 10 years.
Well, it was the problem. We did it through Talent Associates, which was David Susskind. They had gotten some sort of releases which only covered them for that original sale to Chrysler when they syndicated it. And then we had to go back and get all the performers to sign new releases. And it was just hard finding them all. It took us a long time to even find who had the rights to it, because the thing kept getting sold to larger and larger companies. I think Beatrice Foods ended up owning it at one point. And the thing is, this was never made as a thing that would be around. It was just for one showing, and then you could throw it away, which is the way a lot of television stuff is done.
But I'll tell you, I knew actors and theater people who kept saying, "You worked on that film? Can I get a copy of it?" It was an underground thing for
Yeah,
theater
I know
people.
that.
They were absolutely nuts about getting that film.
And then 10 years later, it was shown at the New York Film Festival, and there was a line around the block. I heard
That's right.
about
Yeah, they showed it there. And Truffaut came up afterwards and gave me a big hug. He loved it. They showed it at Lincoln Center, but they didn't show it at the main hall. They showed it in the library for some reason. I don't know why. There was a huge crowd there. God, they had to call the police in. They had either oversold the place or not announced it, or whatever it was. I know it was in the paper that there was some kind of a riot about this film, which seemed to me excessive.
At this wonderful thing at Lincoln Center, some young guy, college age, got up and said, "Miss Stritch, how did you think you looked on the documentary?" And I said, I think I looked like Margaret Rutherford doing the life story of Judy Garland. And
really
I
brought
was
the house
glad
down.
I said it.
It got a very good response.
It got a very good response, and he sat down quickly.
Oh, perfect. Great. That's one hell of a good take.